super nervous. So if I like stutter, or if I get a little awkward, that's why. I want to hold this the whole time, I feel like. Okay, y'all. So, can everybody hear? I feel like I'm not talking enough. Okay. So I grew up in LaPorte, Texas with my mom, dad, and my sister. Growing up, I've always been bigger than other kids. Struggling with my weight is something that has been an issue in my life for a really long time. When you deal with something like that and you're really young, like I was, you expect to come home and find constant love and support from your family. And unfortunately for me, that's not really something that I got. Before me, my dad had one other kid from a previous marriage, my brother, and he'd always lived states away in Florida, so he never had to deal with him. So when it came to parenting, he had no clue. So I come around and he's just as clueless as most parents are. On top of this, my dad had always struggled with alcoholism. So just drinking every night without fail, like usually falling asleep, passing out on the couch. This caused problems in our house constantly, always. So when I was in elementary school, we moved out and we moved in with my Uncle Mark. And while we lived there, me and him got closer than anyone I've ever been closer to in my life. He was a father figure for me. He was someone who loved me. And when we lived there, I felt we were happy. We felt like a family. And a couple years down the road, my parents decided to give it another shot, which I love my dad, and I was super excited about that. So we moved into a house in Nassau Bay. And around this time, my dad's son moves from Florida into Texas with us. So I'm super close with my sister. She's probably one of my best friends. So when I heard my brother was moving in, I was super stoked. I thought, I'm gonna get another sibling. There's gonna be another person that's in my corner always. And unfortunately, I was completely wrong. I guess my dad felt really bad about missing out on so much in my brother's life. So when it came time that he lived with us, everything that he did became the greatest thing ever. I don't know if you guys have like a golden sibling in your family, but that's what he was. Anything that I did not amount at all to anything my brother could do. It seemed like everything I was doing was irrelevant. I worked harder in school. I worked harder out of school. I just wanted to make him proud like my brother was making him proud. Couple years later, my mom gets diagnosed with breast cancer. This was really, really hard for me. I was super young, so all I really remember was being super terrified. My mom was someone who had always been there for me. I didn't have a good relationship with my dad, so losing my mom would have been unthinkable. People kept telling me they were praying for me, and I never really understood why. Like, you're praying to some God in the sky that's supposed to make my life better, but he hadn't so far, so why should I believe he was going to do anything then? Going into high school, upperclassmen always tell you that everything changes there, that your friends become different, but you don't really believe them until it happens to you. So I start freshman year, and all of a sudden, all my friends care about is drinking and partying and boys that don't even really care about them. And of course I knew that wasn't me. I knew that that wasn't what I wanted for my life, but I was so scared of being the freshman that was stuck in middle school. I was so scared of not fitting in that I threw my morals to the side and just did whatever I needed to do to fit in with these people. I tried it. I drank, I smoked, I partied, I did everything that I could to fit in with the popular crowd, and I changed. I became negative. I was mean to people. I talked about the real friends that had actually been there for me, and I started losing people. I started losing the people that I never thought I was going to lose. And about that time, I realized that I didn't even know who I had become. I didn't know why I was acting the way that I was. I didn't know why I was treating people so awfully. And I just I looked in the mirror, and that wasn't who I wanted to be. Around this time, freshman year, I had heard about Young Life at school, but everyone always said that Young Life was for hypocrites, people that partied on the weekends and wanted to claim Jesus on Monday, so I never went. I didn't want to be part of the hypocritical crowd, so I didn't try it. Sophomore year, I went to the first club. I decided that who even cares? Like, what do I have to lose? It's a couple hours on a Monday night. First club my sophomore year, I went and I was obsessed. I got hooked on the first one. There's something about being in a club room with all of your friends that is indescribable. Like, I don't even know how to tell you guys how amazing it feels. You walk in the door and everything that you're worried about stays there. Everyone just dances, everyone just has fun, everyone doesn't judge each other. It's just a place where us high school kids can feel comfortable and we can ask questions and we can learn more. Young Life made me feel like I mattered. I felt accepted in club room with all my friends. So sophomore year, I keep going to Young Life. I love it. I become like the Young Life girl at school. Like people see me and they're like, "Oh, Jasmine just goes to Young Life all the time." So I kept going. A couple months down the road, there's a club at Gateway Church. Dustin Hopkins, he's a kicker in the NFL. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he actually graduated from Clear Lake High School, which is where I went to school. So Dustin Hopkins is at club, and he's talking about how his life had changed since Jesus came into it, about how positive it had become, about all the amazing things that had happened to him since he decided to walk with Christ in life. And I kind of was sitting there, and I was listening to it, and I was thinking about why I hadn't. I was thinking about, like, what did I have to... People say that it's so great. People say that I could be so much happier, so why didn't I just do it? So at club that night, I had decided that I wanted to live a life with Christ, and it was important to me that I just did. Like, I had decided there, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be in it. I didn't want to do it sometimes, go to church on Easter and Christmas. Like, I wanted to live with God. So club ends, and I look down at my phone, I have a missed call from my cousin. So I go outside, I call her back, and she sounds like frantic on the phone. I was kind of confused. She said, "Hey, Uncle Mark's not breathing. Have you heard anything?" And you know when someone tells you bad news, like your breath just kind of catches in your throat, like you don't really know what to say? So I immediately hung up and called my mom. While I'm on the phone with my mom tells me that my Uncle Mark had passed away. I was kind of confused and angry because I had just told Christ that I wanted to live with him. I had just told him that that I wanted to live. I wanted to devote my life to him. I was giving Christ my life, and then not even 15 minutes later, I walk outside and receive the worst news of my life. I was angry. I didn't understand why it was happening to me. I didn't understand why any of it had happened to me. I remember walking back into Gateway, and I was just crying. I had no idea what to do. It was something that I was literally stuck. My leader, Carly, at the time, comes up to me, and she just takes me outside and asks me what happened. She talks to me about what I was doing. She prayed for me. She was there for me on one of the worst days of my life. And I don't think I will ever be able to thank her enough for that because so I am angry at God. I'm confused. I don't understand why this is happening to me, but I keep going to Young Life because it's fun. I love it. It's something that even if I don't go for Jesus, I'm going for my friends. That summer, I went to Crooked Creek Ranch, which is a Young Life camp in Colorado, which is the most beautiful place I've ever seen, by the way. Like, people talk about camp and you don't really believe them, but they're being honest. Like, camp was a place where I could feel safe. Camp was a place that what had happened to me, who I was friends with, none of it mattered. Camp was a place where you could go and ask big questions about Christ without being judged. So during quiet time one night, which quiet time at camp is basically like, you hear a speech from a speaker, and then you go outside and they turn all the lights off in camp. So you literally sit under the stars by yourself and just pray and spend time with Jesus and figure out what's next for you. So at quiet time one night, I sat down and I asked Jesus some big questions myself. I asked him why all of this had happened to me. What did I do to deserve everything that had been thrown my way? Because I didn't get it. I thought, I'm a pretty good person. Like, I don't understand why my life had been so hard. And all of a sudden, I felt, like, relieved. Like, all the stress and everything that had ever happened to me just kind of floated off my shoulders, and I was calm. I cried, and I told Jesus that I was ready, and I told Jesus that I wanted to live with him. And whatever that meant, whatever he wanted me to do, I was down for. I felt comforted. It was something that instantaneously I knew that, like, I had been changed. And at the time, like, literally right after I, like, started crying and told Jesus this, I saw a shooting star, and I'm not kidding. I definitely was like, no. Like, I kind of looked around me. I was like, did anybody else see that? Like, it was kind of huge. Like, I kind of freaked out. So, ever since then, things have just been a little easier. Like, don't get me wrong, living a life with Jesus is definitely not the key to just stress-free. Like, I'm good now. Like, God's got me. Like, it's definitely... I'm not going to lie and tell you that it's easy because it's not. But I know that I'm going to be okay because my God has an extraordinary plan for me. And I'm so thankful that Young Life was able to show me that. When I was younger, I thought I was a disappointment. Now I see that I'm truly loved by my God. I used to feel irrelevant at home and at school and anywhere, and now I know that I matter to Jesus. I didn't understand the power of prayer at all. When people told me they were praying for me and my mom, it didn't mean anything. Now I understand that prayer is the only way. Fast forward to now, I'm leading freshman Young Life at my school. I will be spending a month of the summer serving on work group at Young Life Camp in Florida. And I fully plan on becoming a full-time Young Life leader after high school. Young Life just explained Jesus in a way that didn't scare me. I feel like growing up in church, you always hear Jesus as like this big, scary guy who just sits up and judges you. And I wasn't down, like I just didn't like it. And Young Life showed me that that's not how it was at all. It showed me that he was someone who was going to love every piece of me. He was someone that I can always turn to. He was someone who accepted me in the middle of my mess, and that didn't scare me at all. Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, give it up really big for Jasmine. Come on, that's cool. That's crazy awesome to have a 16, 17-year-old high school kid stand in front of all these people, her classmates, and tons of people who she doesn't know and be able to share that. That's so awesome. Hey guys, thank you guys so much for coming again. We still have tons of crawfish if you want to go get some. The silent auction is going to be open for a little bit longer. Hang out, play some, throw the beanbag, cornhole things for a little bit longer. I'm going to pray real quick and then have some fun. God, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you so much for Jasmine and her story, and for the fact that you used her story for incredible things. And one day that you called her out of darkness and have shown her what real life is. Thank you for tonight, for the crawfish boil, for everyone here, and for fun times, fun conversations, and tons of spitting worms all over the place. We just pray that the rest of the night's fun, that we have good times with each other, and we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Good job, baby girl.